Sean Payton, head coach of the New Orleans Saints. What's with this Saints Happy podcast? This has to be the worst Saints podcast in the world. Ralph can't say anyone's name right. Andrew doesn't know football. Everyone has a hard time listening to Dave. And is Kevin even there tonight? The audio with this podcast, my God, the audio, it's painful.
All right, everybody, welcome to another edition of Saints Happy Hour podcast. We have an amazing show for you tonight. We're going to go over Saints news. Cornerback options are dwindling. Juwan Johnson's going to tight end. Assistant coaches refusing to take the vaccine, how that could affect things. Not on the Saints necessarily. We're going to talk about Chris Sims being a douchebag and picking Taysom over Jameis. We're going to talk about all-time franchise rankings. Where do the Saints rank in the hierarchy of NFL teams? And we're starting our Drew Brees worst decision bracket. Thomas has given me marching orders on how to do this. I won't pull it off. He will be frustrated and want to murder me in about 25 minutes. So find us wherever you get your podcast. Rate us, review us, subscribe. If you don't give us 5 stars, don't give us any stars at all. Find us on YouTube, subscribe. We're amazing. Help the podcast and become a patron. We get to 350 patrons by the first week of August, first week of preseason. My wife will give me a pie to the face. We're going backwards, though. It's bad. We were at 295 patrons. We're going backwards. We got to get back on the ball with that. So, but Dave, how are you doing? Are you super excited? Give us a 20-second Islander update.
Ooh, Islanders at the top. Great. Series tied 2-2. Going back to Boston for Game 5. I'm confident. I like our chances, and I'm expecting to play the Lightning in the next round in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, the
and
Lightning.
Matt Barzal finally, he's one of our good players, one of our star players. He's finally starting to kick into high gear. So
Andrew had to hurry up and set up LSU baseball in an elimination game on ESPN 9 on an app somewhere.
ESPN 9. It's after the Ocho.
But let's start here, Andrew. The Saints' options at corner are dwindling like the open box table at Best Buy after Christmas. Like they're some guy, Steven, whoever, who you hated apparently, he signed with the Vikings. The options at corner are dwindling. My question to you is, do you care, and do you expect them to do anything before practice starts at corner?
Well, they're not even at 90 players because of their cap situation. So it's interesting to see where the Saints sit right now cap-wise, because they don't have a situation where they can even sign their draft picks. Like, something's got to move before they can even do that. So, yeah, I care. Yeah, and it's concerning. I mean, I want Richard Sherman, not so much that I insist on him starting. It's more like I want that buffer. I want Adebo to have a path to starting if he beats out a guy like Richard Sherman. Because otherwise, it's like, what's our fallback? It's Patrick Robinson, PJ Williams as starters. Not great, Bob.
Not great.
Bob.
It's
not great.
I guess like the whole Marcus Williams franchise tag thing. I mean, I would assume that's one big thing that they're working on now behind the scenes. Hopefully,
well, it's all that, right? I mean,
so they can make some room.
I mean, Ramczyk, Williams, and Lattimore all make like $10 million, and they count 10 million. Like, so they need basically to do one of them.
Yeah, I think to Andrew's point is we need to see, something happen in those three areas before we're gonna see something happen in the cornerback department.
Well, the thing about corner is, the more I think about corner, Andrew, I just don't think the Saints feel this immediacy and this pressure to do something like we do. I think the Saints are thinking of it, let's just see what we have at corner. Let's give it a couple weeks of practice. And then they can panic sign somebody in the middle of August, because obviously I don't think, Breland signed or whatever, but I think they'll still have, I don't think anybody else is going to sign before camp. So the options that they have now on June 6th, I still think they'll be there like August 15th. So I know fans were like, sign somebody, make a move. And look, I get it. Me and Ant, we got to do this podcast every single day. We want to fire up the breaking news siren. But Andrew, I just don't feel like the Saints have the same immediacy at corner or anything basically that we have. They're just like, we'll just see how it goes.
Well, I mean, obviously, I think if the Saints had an unlimited budget, right? If the cap wasn't an issue, I mean, there's guys. Maybe Janoris Jenkins would still be on the team, so maybe it would be a moot point. But I think in a perfect world, they would have already signed Richard Sherman. But it's interesting. The most recent comments I read from Richard Sherman were that, I don't know. He was kind of saying, I think maybe too much is being made out of the need at corner for the Saints, and I think that's his way of saying they're not offering me enough. They're obviously not desperate enough because they're not paying me what I'm worth. And so maybe they're happy with what they got. I don't know. So he was kind of playing it that way. And I think obviously they're lowballing him for cap reasons, but I do think the Saints are kind of playing this like, yeah, we might be happy with what we got. Like, and I'm sure Mickey Loomis is kind of drawing a line in the sand. Like, this is what we'll pay for you. This is where we're comfortable. We're not going to go above it. So I think there's a little bit of posturing right now where Richard Sherman is maybe waiting to see if something better shakes loose financially. But the longer this goes, I think that's a good thing for the Saints. I think he's more likely to sign the longer it goes.
Dave, are you at all concerned that the Saints haven't signed their draft picks? And I think I read 21 teams have signed their draft picks so far. Are you at all concerned?
I mean, no. I mean, they're going to sign their draft picks. I mean, I don't think they're going to set some precedent where there's going to be breaking news like, holy shit, the Saints are the first team in NFL history that
didn't sign the draft
can't afford any of their draft picks. It's going to happen. But again, I to the other point we said earlier, I think maybe we're waiting for something to happen in the Marcus Williams, Marshawn Lattimore, Ryan Ramczyk department before we see anything in the sign a cornerback or sign your draft pick department.
Well, I mean,
pay that man his money.
Pay the draft picks, Mickey. Pay the draft picks. So,
I mean, there is, from my understanding of it, it's been a while since I, really had an in-depth knowledge of it since the days when I was banging on Canal Street Chronicles. But I thought that teams had to have a certain amount of money set aside specifically for their draft picks or whatever. I don't know.
Well,
I remember that being the case.
You need like certain millions for the draft picks, and you need like certain millions to do moves. I think it's like by the beginning of the year, you need to have like, obviously you got to sign the draft picks. And Andrew, don't you need like $2.5 million for like waivers and claims and all that kind of stuff?
Yep. I mean, there's got to be a plan, right? Mickey Loomis will figure it out.
Yes,
I'm not worried.
Yeah, I know.
It's June.
Like, what are they going to do? Not sign their draft pick? Like I said, the thought of that happening is like just totally absurdist.
But something they have to make some move. So it's either extend one of the three guys that's on a 1-year deal, meaning Lattimore, Marcus Williams, Ramczyk,
to
get more space. Or it's, I mean, they could cut someone like Patrick Robinson or Latavius Murray to get space, but I just feel like they would have already done that if they were going to do it.
Yeah, because the thing is to wait that long to cut Robinson or Murray, that's dick.
You're screwing them over.
Yeah. So I mean, the Saints are usually good about being good to veteran players. So that's true. The other Saints news that happened this week, Andrew, is the Saints said that they're moving Juwan Johnson to tight end, most likely. And you were, of all the people on Twitter, the experts, the so-called, Underhill, whoever you want, a triplet, you name them. You were one of the lone voice that was like, this might not be so good for Juwan Johnson. Like, this might make his life more difficult, make him less likely to make the team. And I thought your perspective was interesting. Explain yourself.
Well, I just think in a lot of ways it makes sense, but I think people are so quick to be like, "Oh yes, move him to tight end, he's going to be great." But he's been playing receiver his whole life, right? His whole career, and he made the team last year playing as a receiver. And so I kind of look at him. He's probably a top 5 receiver right now. He's probably battling with guys like little Jordan Humphrey, to try to make a roster spot. And I know there's a joke waiting to be made there, Dave. Do you want me to pause? Do you want me to pause and let you make the little Jordan Humphrey comment first before I keep? No,
I got nothing.
You're good. Okay,
That's my boy.
man. You're slipping. But no. So to me, it's like he's already kind of on the inside. He's maybe on the bubble, but he's on the inside looking out at receiver. And now a brand new position, and you're battling a guy, Garrett Griffin, who's played tight end his whole career, and you're trying to beat him out for maybe the number 3 tight end. But it could work. It could be really interesting, because he certainly has the height, he certainly has the speed, and so if he could put a little weight on and he can show some ability as an inline blocker, then it's kind of like a Dan Arnold type project. Or Dan Arnold came in as a big receiver and he switched, and he's now in the Cardinals as a starter. So it could work.
Yeah. Well, look, here's how I see this going. I think Juwan Johnson is going to have great success at tight end.
Success.
He's going to be like top 5 in the league tight end. He's going to have an incredible season. And then plot twist, the Saints are going to pay him like a top wide receiver, like a top 5 wide receiver. He's going to get
I was going to say, where are you going with this? You're slandering Troutman.
I just feel like most of the time when these guys get convinced to switch positions, who was another guy who did this? It was Caleb Ewells. He made the team as a defensive tackle, remember? He made the 53-man roster, and then the next year they switched him to guard, and he didn't make the team. So it's like...
He went to oblivion. I don't remember him...
These moves, I just feel like they always sound great in theory, but then when you get on the practice field and the dude's got to figure it out, and he's never played the position in his life, the NFL is not the right time to start learning something. That's not the stage of your career where you want to try to start figuring things out for the first time.
The other sort of NFL news, Dave, that I want to talk about is Pro Football Talk said that 4 teams have assistant coaches that are like, I'm not getting vaccinated. And I just thought of it in the way of this, like that guy for the PGA tournament, like he got DQ'd yesterday. He was 6 shots ahead and like cost himself like $1.6 million. And my thing is, I know people will be like, this is America. You can do whatever you want, whether it's your choice, whether you get vaccinated or not. And that's true. But what do NFL coaches always say about teams? They're like, this is not a democracy. So, like, if you have a team and an assistant coach doesn't want to get vaccinated, and that means you got to do remote meetings, and, like, you could have a situation where, like, the Saints against the Lions where, like, everybody's going to get tested at 3 a.m. because the coach had a bad test. Like, do you think these teams are going to pressure these assistant coaches hardcore? I just can't imagine.
They already are, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny that you mentioned John Rahm in the Memorial Golf Tournament this weekend, because that was definitely the first thing that came to my mind too when I thought about this. I mean, I don't know. I haven't fully read up on this. I mean, I'm not sure what protocols they're going to have in place for next season. I mean, are they really, like, if you're not vaccinated, are you really going to have to do remote stuff or whatever?
If you're not vaccinated.
I mean, yeah, I mean, if that's a pain in the ass, I mean, if you're talking about it having making it more difficult on your day-to-day football operations, I think that's, I don't know how you handle that. I mean, you can't fire them just because they don't want to get vaccinated. I mean, you can do, like, I know some states and companies are doing. I mean, you could potentially offer incentives. You could say, we'll give you an extra $10,000 if you get vaccinated or whatever. But of course, that, but yes, you can do that. But then, of course, and it's like the people that got vaccinated are like, well, what the fuck? Why don't I get $10,000? I got vaccinated. I didn't get paid $10,000 to get vaccinated. It's like Tulane. Like Tulane is giving you $500 if you get vaccinated, and the people that were already vaccinated are getting that money retroactively.
Right.
My thing is
Got his $500.
How could you continue to do your job? Because now they're saying if you're not vaccinated, they're not going to let you around the players. They're not going to let you on the field. They're not going to let you in the meeting room. So, like, how can you?
As far as like
you can't do your job. You can't.
I mean, like as far as the team is concerned,
you would have to fire the guy, or you'd have to hire someone. But you'd have to hire someone to do what they do.
Here's my thing. And Dave, and I know there's maybe it's more vocal on social media or whatever, but there's a percentage of America that is like, we are not getting vaccinated. You can't make us do it. And whatever. But here's the thing. I just feel like fans this year are going to be so much less understanding of players or coaches getting COVID and screwing up teams' chances to win. Last year, we were like, hey, we don't know it. It happened with Kamara. It happened with the coach of Cleveland in the playoff game. He couldn't go and all this, and they had to do they had to make the assistant coach. And I think we were like, well, there's nothing you can really do. I just feel like this year we are going to cut coaches and players no fucking slack over this, because we are going to be like, you should have got your shot. You are costing the Saints a potential game. Like, I just feel like fans, no matter what their stance is on vaccine pro or positive, they want the Saints to win every Sunday, and that overrides everything.
Totally. I completely agree. Yeah, because now it's like this could have been avoidable. You affecting my enjoyment of the team on Sunday and whether they win or lose was avoidable if you just got a needle in your arm. And so it's like kind of that, like, I mean, reality and life kind of gets suspended on Sundays for these games anyway, right? So it becomes less of a fundamental, like, whether or not, what impact it has on the world is irrelevant. It's really just about if it was avoidable for you not to, like, I mean, look, people were pissed at Kamara before the vaccine was available for going out to bars. Remember that? Remember when Kamara, people were pissed at him.
As they should be.
As they should be. But I'm just saying, so now fast forward to a world where you can actually get vaccinated and you can go to bars and not worry about it, because it's probably fine. You're probably not going to get a positive test. And even if you do, you're going to be asymptomatic and you're probably not going to have to wait the whole 2 weeks. And I mean, I think I'm with you, Ralph. Like, people are just going to be a lot less forgiving of that.
Final thing before we get to roasting Chris Sims. Dave, the NFL, even though they're pushing for vaccinations, they're like, yeah, the media thing we did last year where everything's going to be on Zoom and you're going to have no locker room access. Yeah, we're going to keep that in place. And the media flipped the lid over it. Do you think, I think that's going to stay in place, because I think NFL coaches are fucking control freaks and they love to have things on Zoom because it makes their life easier. I think this limited access post-COVID with the locker room and players and all is here to stay. Do you care at all? Because I don't really care. It kind of puts us on a level playing field with other media, so I kind of like it. Do you give a shit about media access?
I don't really think I do, but from the media standpoint, I don't know. There's no way this can stay. Maybe they're gonna do it for this year, but there's no way you can continue this. And I think that's what the media is worried about. They're worried about this slippery. They're worried about it just becoming. They're worried that it's like 1984. It's like, okay, now they're conditioned, and now this becomes the norm, and now they're used to it, and this is just the way it is now, and they're worried about this slippery slope.
I mean, I know you don't.
I think the media has a valid concern.
I think they do, because it makes their job. It makes their job way harder because it makes it harder to build relationships.
It's a bad look, but that's a bad look for the NFL. If if the NFL is the only league that's going to continue doing it, it's a bad look. So I would say the NFL is going to need other leagues to buy into this. Whether it's the NHL or the NBA, but you're going to need other sports leagues to buy into this so that it doesn't look so terrible for the NFL being the only ones to do it. But no, oh my God, it's okay. It's okay. They want to play it safe for another year. That's fine. I get that. But
dude,
but
it's an interesting
2022
perspective though. Hearing Ralph say that he wants a level playing field, I didn't really think
It
about
levels
it that
it
way.
out.
I mean,
It levels it out because then they don't have locker room access. We don't have locker room access. It levels it out. I mean,
pretty good. Saints happy hour
pretty
starting to
good.
look pretty good if we got similar access. But
yeah, I mean, selfishly, yes.
But I mean, we have friends in the media. Nick Underhill, Cat Terrell, Mike Triplett's great. Love that guy, and it's like it makes it harder for them to do their job, and that part sucks, man. Because. And we lose out as fans. I'm not talking about as a podcaster, but I'm just saying as Saints fans, we lose out because we get less intel, we get less information. And, the ones that really win are people like the national media people. They get to leak more stuff because, they have their relationships with maybe the head coach or maybe their agent, who's leaking stuff. And so it's just like, when you don't have your ear to the ground because you're not around the facility, you don't catch wind of things as easily. I think it puts the local media at a big disadvantage in terms of sourcing things and breaking news compared to the national media, and that's a bummer to me.
And it does in this sense. When the Saints are winning, the media is less important. But when they're losing and they're struggling, that's when the cracks start to happen in the locker room and you get the juicy stuff. And that's when you want to know what the fuck is going wrong. So that's a flip side. The one thing I will say is, Andrew, you follow European soccer like I do. The EPL, the manager talks and one player. And that's for every EPL game in England. So, I mean, and you could argue that's the biggest sports league in the world, maybe even the NFL might make more money, but more people care maybe about the EPL. So that's how they do it. So we'll see. But I do think Dave's right. I think if the other leagues, if MLB and basketball go back to normal, the NFL can't be a holdout. So the cover of our podcast this week, to get the clicks, to get the rage clicks, Andrew, Chris Sims, the douchebag, he ranked all the NFL quarterbacks, and he had Taysom one spot ahead of Jameis, which I guess means he thinks Taysom has the lead for NFL quarterback for the Saints. Do you think the national media is Chris Sims just like us being a click whore? Or does he really believe, and does other NFL national media believe, that maybe Taysom has the inside track and has a legit shot at this job, and that's because Peyton is chirping in their ear?
We should never pay attention. I mean, how many times do we have to see Chris Sims say something idiotic and asinine before we realize?
He couldn't even get the 49ers right, and he literally has Kyle Shanahan's name tattooed on his body, and he couldn't even get their pick right.
Yeah. So, anything that he says, don't listen to it. But, I mean, back to this point, I've been saying this for a while now. I feel like the pendulum has swung so far the Jameis Winston way that no one's even giving Taysom a shot. And it's interesting, man. It's Sean Payton is so good at scheming things, and he has two guys, and so you always talk about like the question that you always ask yourself when you have a really explosive play, really big play is, was it the player or was it the play? Sometimes it's Sean Payton just scheming something up, and the running joke is, well, Connor Payton could have made that throw, right? I mean, if you've read Jeff Duncan's book, they talk about that, Peyton and Brees, or if you've listened to some of, sometimes Sean Payton will say, well, Connor could have made that throw. And that obviously that's the play, where something about the scheme, the design is great. Sometimes it's the player. And I just can't help but go back to Jameis and his arm and how ridiculously talented he is, but also Taysom and his legs and how ridiculously talented he
can't-
is.
Andrew, I didn't pay attention to a fucking word you said because Dave is he's pounding a granola bar, drinking a beer, and has a cat walking
Ralph's cat?
behind him.
No, that's my cat Meadow.
Did Ralph's
And
cat somehow transfer itself from Ralph's computer to Dave's?
No, that's my cat Meadow. I'm also a cat owner.
Did it just levitate?
But my cat doesn't make noise like a fucking banshee like Ralph's cat, so you never know that I had a cat. But I am concerned because our cat has a thyroid.
She looks like she's about to spray you.
Our cat has a thyroid problem, and she's been pissing all over the place out of the litter box lately.
Yeah, that looked like a dangerous aim.
Yeah,
right
I was while you were talking about her, I was worried that she was gonna piss all over my daughter's stuffed unicorn back here.
Cocked, locked, and ready to rock with the pea cannon.
Oh my god! And
So
then, yes,
anyway-
I was chowing down on a granola bar.
Was it a granola, Chewy?
Yeah. It was a chewy peanut
Chewy.
butter and chocolate chip. Yeah. I eat my kids' shit all the time. It's not even really my kid. It's my shit. I just let my kids eat it. That's really how I look at it. Because I go to like the funny thing is like I go to Costco and I buy shit. I buy beef jerky and I buy like
You buy the beef jerky in the individual packs because that's what I do.
I do that for my daughter, and my son, so they can take it to school. It's convenient. But then I also buy like the big packs of like I love the Korean pork
bag.
jerky.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the big thing of the Korean pork jerky that my daughter also loves. But and I buy fruit snacks and that kind of stuff. And my wife's always like, "You're eating all the kids' food," and I'm like, "This is my food. The kids are eating all of my food. I bought this. This is for me. I like beef jerky and fruit snacks. It just so happens that the kids like the same shit that I like."
They had a thing at Costco. I don't know what it is, but it's basically like Almond Joy, but instead of a candy bar, it's a chocolate ball. Oh, those things are so.
Have you ever been to a dinner with a bunch of old people where the whole time they're just talking about their medical stuff, like their hemorrhoids
Yeah.
I feel like we're gonna have a segment we're like 5 years away from having a segment on this podcast where we just start talking about Dave's various health ailments. The different medications that he's on.
Wait, so two things. So back to the beer that I am drinking. So this is the
right on cue.
This is the newest release.
You inhaled a granola bar and now you're drinking a beer.
I barely had dinner, and then oh my god, I don't even want to tell you what I had. I had a day old Big Mac for dinner.
Oh god, day old.
You eat worse
Was it just
than
sitting?
my 5-year-old.
No, it was in the fridge. My wife said it. My wife left me this morning on a business trip. She's gone for like 3 days.
She left you.
So did you heat this up or just eat it cold?
No, I microwaved it. Yeah,
Nuked it.
not nearly as good as a fresh.
So
Big
you
Mac.
had a nuked Big Mac. Ugh.
Dave, how
Well,
many
the
days
granola bar
your
was
wife
my-
be away and your health not
Until I
be
can dress
improved?
myself. How many days until your wife can be away until you dress yourself and it matches?
Oh, dude, my wife can't be away from me more than 3 days. I'll be possibly homeless and roaming the streets of Pearland without clothes. Like 3 days. But so how many days
You mean
can
the
your wife be
panties your
away
mother laid out for
before
you?
you
My
all
wife.
go to hell?
I think 4. I think 4 is probably the max. I think she's coming back right at the event horizon. Wait, okay, so I didn't finish. Okay, so this is the latest release from Nikolai. It was an IPA as per what he posted on our Discord, and he didn't leave a note this time. He didn't leave a detailed description. So I mean, my guess is like, I don't know, it's like a blackberry or raspberry or something, or blueberry IPA is my guess, because he said I think he said fruity, so that's my guess as to what it is. I look forward to him letting us know.
Did
That's
it
what I
go
had
good
earlier.
with the granola bar? Did it pair well with the
yeah.
granola bar?
Well, wait. Okay. Well, you want to see what I have next coming up here? This is my son loves this. My son eats the weirdest shit. I love him because he eats He eats anything and everything. He will try anything. Like, doesn't matter what it is. But right now, his favorite snack is seaweed. Like, he loves to eat seaweed. And now he loves this popcorn and a pickle. He likes pickles and seaweed. He's gonna be like that smelly kid at school, like whose breath is like so fucking terrible. And I'm like, dude, you gotta if you want to eat this shit, you gotta just
You got to rotate with the juicy fruit.
He does chew gum. Actually, he does really like gum also. So I guess he's on the right track. But anyway.
Mixing a breath mint.
Anyway, back to Chris Sims.
It sounds like the apple didn't fall very far from the tree.
Well, he did not. My daughter, on the other hand, only eats chicken nuggets and French fries.
And beef jerky.
And, oh yes, and she does. She does like beef jerky. And ice cream, of course. But back to Chris Sims. I don't know. I kind of felt good about it because last year he had Jameis at 33 and Taysom at 36, and this year they've both moved up to 24 and 25. So call it a win. And Jameis only threw one pass this season.
Yeah, that's
Dave
impressive.
having receipts is the biggest upset of the night. No, but here's the thing with Jameis and Taysom, Andrew, and I'm thinking about this, and I want you both to answer is, how do we need to hyper grade them every practice and every single day say Jameis is in the lead, Taysom is in the lead? Now I know Sean Payton every day will be asked it and he'll dodge the question, but we're not Sean Payton. Do we need to have a Taysom Jameis, I don't know, a counter isn't the right word, but like a
ticker,
a measurement or something, and every day declare a starter in preseason.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, and again, that's why it's too bad that the media can't see him every day, so we can't just get more intel and more information. But
we need a cool name for the Taysom Jameis daily grader.
At least we're gonna get preseason. I mean, if Ian Book throws a touchdown pass in preseason, that could get real interesting. If he's in there in the fourth quarter against fifth stringers, against UDFAs, and he throws a 60-yard bomb to Lil Jordan, I mean, it might sense. I think people will be ready to put him as a starter, especially if Taysom. Here's how it's going to play out, Ralph. First preseason game, this is how it's going down. Taysom's going to get the start. He's going to fumble on the opening possession. Jameis is going to come in. He's going to throw a pick. And then Ian Book is going to come in the fourth quarter. And the Saints are going to be down 13-10. And he's going to throw a 60-yard touchdown pass to Little Jordan. And all of Saints Twitter is going to completely ignore the fact that he was playing fifth-string UDFAs or whatever and vault him into the starting spot. 100%. And that's happening.
Hey, Tomas, check the timestamp on this.
How many good preseason practices and or games would Ian Book have to have, Dave, to get Saints Twitter?
All of them.
I don't know, man. I feel
Andrew
like
says one. Andrew says one.
I feel like Ian Book, the hype train for him. I think Andrew's right. All it takes is one good drive or a long touchdown pass, and the hype train for Ian Book will be in full throttle for week 2 of the preseason. Because one, I think there's a huge segment of Saints fans and Saints Twitter. They don't want either Taysom or Jameis.
Ralph
they don't
can't
want
say
either
anyone's
one.
name right.
They might be stuck with them. They know that they're probably going to be stuck with one of them this year, but deep down, they don't want either one of them. And Ian Book, as a total new possibility, they will latch onto him at the first sign of a possibility of success. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, you may be right. I only say that because my son, who only remotely pays attention to the Saints, was asking me the other day. He was like, "Who's the quarterback of the Saints?" And I'm like, "Taysom Hill or Jameis Winston. We don't know yet." He's like, "Didn't they draft a guy?" And I'm like, "Ian Book." He's like, "Yeah. Like, what about him?" And I'm like, "I don't think so." But then I'm like, "Yeah." Then I'm like, "I don't know. Maybe." So like my son really, I think my son really wants Ian Book to kind of sneak in there. So I don't know. Maybe there is something about that.
I think the I told you so's are really quiet right now. They're super quiet, but as soon as a couple Jameis Winston picks come in, they're going to be loud. They're going to be vocal. We're going to hear from them.
Solve your problems with aggression.
Isn't it kind of exciting though? Like even if it burns to the ground or like it goes amazing. Obviously, I'm rooting for it to go amazing, but we haven't had this in. I mean, I've been a Saints fan my whole
It's
life.
gonna be amazing.
Since 2000.
It's 2006. We have
No,
known going into
even
the season.
before that,
like,
Aaron Brooks
yeah,
was.
true.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I would say with Brooks, like towards the end there with Jake Delhomme, like it was at least like a little uncertain. And at the beginning, his second year was like, is it going to be him or Jeff Blake? So, but yeah, no, you're right. I mean, it's really been, gosh.
Well, and I just think
how many years was Brooks with the Saints? 8?
No, he was 5. It was like 2000,
5.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, so we're basically going
6.
on 22 years.
This millennium.
Knowing who the starter was going to be.
And
this
the
is
thing
like
is,
Brave New World.
no, it's a brave new world. And other fan bases like the Browns who went through a stretch of like a ton of quarterbacks over a short period of the Bears or these franchises that just cycle through quarterbacks, their fan bases probably understand it and are more sort of reserved about things that happen in training camp when it's a quarterback battle. We haven't had this experience in a generation. I just think Saints Twitter is going to be all over the place.
Yeah.
Day to day.
We're ready to crown someone as the next Drew Brees like any second,
Yeah.
One good play.
Or fire him in a cannon to the sun.
Right.
After,
Like a
one
lot of
bad
extremes.
practice.
Yeah.
Because the thing is,
Totally.
like Drew Brees, he could have a practice as long as he didn't get injured. We didn't care. He could be like Drew Brees was 1 of 11 today in team. We'd be like, whatever.
It's fine. Yeah.
Whatever. It's fine.
But
now, we're gonna hyper-analyze that stuff. So
no, you're totally right. And not only that, but I think I'm saying I'm really excited about it and I'm really pumped for this because it's like new and weird and dangerous. But like, I'm also acutely aware that we might get a couple weeks into this and I'm like miserable and it sucks and I hate it.
That seems very likely.
Yeah.
pick a fucking quarterback already.
Yeah,
Sean.
yeah. Can we just go back to the Hall of Famer at quarterback? Like, this sucks. I don't like it anymore. Like, just kidding. It's not fun not knowing who your quarterback is and having 3 mediocre players. Like, can we just go back to the Hall of Famer?
What about this? Nobody ever talks about this. What if they're playing both? What if they like do the rotating quarterback thing and they both play?
Dude, it's in play. It's in play. It's in play.
That is the worst. What if it's like college football?
The Saints
you talk about like every drive they flip. You talk about like a starter changes every drive.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. They do some. Oh my God.
Dave, the Saints did
that. They're gonna do that, aren't they? Oh my God.
They did that in 1983.
Oh no, there's precedent. Oh no.
There's precedent. In 1983, they
That's what's happening. Chris Sims is right. That's why he put them both back to back next to each other.
Where's the book on this list?
Rotated Ken Stabler and Dave Wilson. They alternated series.
Oh my God!
Worked out.
Ditka did that to Sean Payton against the Saints.
Yeah,
that's what Sean. It's come full circle.
Yes.
It's come full circle.
So
holy shit, that's what they're doing.
So this show has gone completely off the rails. So Thomas, we're just going to obliterate like 3 topics on the rundown. We're going straight to the Drew Brees.
Well, hold on. We gotta at least acknowledge Julio Jones leaving the division. Right?
Oh, okay. Well, he got traded to the Titans.
Yeah. All right.
Whoop-de-doo.
See ya.
There you go. There you go. Good riddance.
An AFC team.
Good for us.
Terry Fontenot really is.
We'll see you week 18.
I know. I did find it funny that I'm like, yes, he's traded to the AFC, and then I'm like, no, we have a 17th game this year, and that's the team we're playing.
Well, I'm Terry Fontenot is he is potentially a sleeper cell of the Saints with the Falcons. I mean, to trade Julio for a 2 and a 4, I mean, it isn't like a great trade for the Falcons. And it was delightful, Dave, to read their fans just sobbing continuously on Twitter today.
Oh, I forgot to check in on the Falcoholic.
I did find it comical and funny that basically they got the same pick for him that they got for Mohamed Sanu.
That really reflects
Julio
poorly on
Jones.
that's a poor reflection on Belichick more so than the Falcons. But
Well,
I do appreciate you
but
slamming the
I
Falcons.
just want to say, Fontenot, you're off to a great start. You got the same comp that your predecessor got for Sanu. Off to a great start.
We'll get in more. We'll care about the Falcons come August. We'll go through all their nonsense. Right now, I'm just happy that they didn't win a Super Bowl. They traded one of their all-time greats for like a bucket of nothing. So let's get to it. Let's start the annual Saints Happy Hour bracket. This year, it's the Drew Brees worst decision bracket.
This is my baby.
It is amazing. Remember to check our Twitter feed and vote on the polls, because if we have a tie, we won't tonight because Kevin's not here, but if we ever have a tie, your vote on the Twitter poll breaks the tie. And we want you to be interactive. If we go astray of the Twitter poll, then we'll talk about it and maybe we're making bad decisions. But this bracket, we start.
I feel like we need. Do we not have? I feel like we should have had somebody make like a song for this. We need like a special Drew Brees' worst decision intro song. No, I could come up if I can figure out how to record something. I could write something. What should it sound? It should be. I feel like it should be like a Wayne's World thing, like a Drew Brees worst decision bracket. Yeah.
We have professional we have patrons that are musicians.
We do.
But we should. You guys should record.
Yes, just a quick like.
You should reach out to Stevic.
10-second like jingle. 10-second jingle. If you got something for the Drew Brees decision intro music, worst bracket, send it in. Where should they send it, Ralph? They probably already know.
Send it to saintshappyhour@gmail.com or just DM me.
Slide in Ralph's DMs.
DMs on Twitter or Patreon if you're a patron, which you should be a patron. By the way, we have a special gift for annual patrons that we will be giving them before the football season starts. So you should become an annual patron. You get a month for free, and you'll get a cool gift that me and Dave are working on. So let's begin the bracket, Thomas. We got the number 1 seed. This is a strong number 1. This is the strongest number 1 seed I think we've ever had. Drew Brees going on Yahoo Finance is the number 1 seed. And it is taken on the 16 seed, hanging with Bear Grylls, which I want to say, we'll get to it in a second. I think that's, I mean, if you talk about bad decisions, Dave, Yahoo Finance is, whew, I mean, it's as bad as it gets. By the way, it's the year anniversary of that this week. It was Wednesday.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. So, you got to give a little background. That was 2020. This was, same time as the George Floyd protests and, just a lot of, awareness of police brutality and all that kind of stuff. And Drew went on Yahoo Finance and basically said, did he say that he doesn't respect people who don't stand for the flag?
You can't kneel for the flag. You
always got to be standing for the flag.
Kneel for the flag. He did his same spiel that he had been doing forever about the flag, and I guess he didn't realize that like the times were changing.
He didn't do a good job of reading the room.
Yeah, he didn't read the room. But the thing is, Andrew, like, to basically set all his goodwill on fire on something called Yahoo Finance. I didn't even know what the hell that was.
Well, the crazy thing about it is that he went on this thing, and you can see this here. We still don't even know what Yahoo Finance is. I didn't even know it existed until he did that interview.
It's a separate website off of Yahoo. I mean, I
Yeah,
guess.
I get it. Yeah, but
Is it
I mean,
bigger than this podcast? That is a legit question.
Yes.
and like the guy that interviewed him is like some nobody that I've never heard of, and like I never even really heard the interview other than the sound clips in question. Right? That's where everyone went,
Yeah.
and when it blew up, it was really isolated to just that. So it's like, why was he going on Yahoo Finance? Was he talking about all his horrible investments? Was he talking about Dogecoin? Like what was going on?
Great stock tip. We never
Why
heard it
was-
because
Yeah.
Yahoo Finance only played the flag.
We
stuff.
don't know. We don't know.
No. He was no. What was he going on for? I'm going to look this up. He had a real reason. He was promoting something, I think.
He was promoting jeans with Wrangler or something.
Was that it or Untuck It? Was
Yeah.
it Untuck It?
Yeah, probably. I mean, like
Is
it's like
Untuck It
Bomani
in this
Jones says.
bracket?
It could have been Drew Brees could have gave you the greatest 5-minute stop. He could have told you to do Dogecoin. It could have been amazing. Doesn't matter. Yahoo Finance never played it because it was all his flag comments.
Yeah.
I
All
mean,
right. So it's going up against Bears, right?
Bear Grylls.
Grillis, I think.
Grills.
Yeah.
Grills. I think this seed, Andrew, it's a little bit. This seed, you could say it was the 16 seed, but it's one bad alligator bite from being the number 1 seed. I feel like this was a potentially worse decision than we. Maybe.
Well, I mean, if he had gotten bitten by the alligator, that certainly would have been potentially horrific. But I don't know. If anything, what Brees going on that show did for us is, I remember it created a GIF. There was a GIF out there where it was like, side by side, and it was Atlanta's quarterback with Matt Ryan, and he was wearing the bra, or the Shy Tuttle GIF, whatever you want. And then there's Brees holding the alligator over his shoulder.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I have a soft spot in my heart for him going on that show because I feel like it gave us that. It made him just look like a total badass, and it was another excuse to make fun of Matt Ryan.
Yeah,
in the process.
And the thing is with this is, Dave, is outdoors challenge? Is it more challenging outdoors throwing to Tommy Lee than going with Bear Grylls somewhere?
Yeah,
So-
it's definitely. First of all, this is my favorite entry into this contest because you still cannot pronounce Bear Grylls' name correctly.
Grylls. It's like
So
like
I'm really
Adebo,
enjoying this.
Adobo, Adabo.
Ralph can't say
Nice.
anyone's name right.
Fuck you, Thomas.
Love that. I love you, Thomas. Look, I mean, the truth of the matter is, this whole show was a setup. It was a very controlled environment. Yes, it was made to look like there was some risk involved or some danger, but I'm sure in reality, it wasn't really a big deal. So, that compared to being like the top headline in like America for like 2 days with your Yahoo Finance comments, doesn't hold a candle. So this is a no-brainer. This is
All
a
right.
no-brainer.
Can we just advance Yahoo Finance already?
Well, we can. The one thing I will say, Thomas gets a vote too now. So Thomas, do you vote Yahoo Finance as well?
That's 4 people then. What if it's a tie?
We've
Yeah.
got the tiebreaker.
We
On
got the tiebreaker. But the one thing I was going to say
If
about
there's
Yahoo,
a tie, then whoever Thomas voted for loses.
No, we also have the fan vote. Remember, Andrew?
Yeah.
the one thing I will say about Yahoo Finance is, it was funny to me is people saw Yahoo Finance in the bracket, and I had a bunch of people. They're like, "What about the flag? What about the kneeling?" I'm like, dude, Yahoo Finance incorporates all of that. And by the way, Yahoo Finance is the biggest one-hit wonder in the history of internet things ever. Like, you can't name the host, you can't name another thing from Yahoo Finance. One-hit wonder superstar.
All right,
So
Yahoo Finance won the fan vote by like 97%.
It was pitching a perfect game for the first
it was incredible.
17 hours of that.
Yahoo Finance. This, by the way, Thomas, I will just say this little PowerPoint presentation you've put together here for our video.
Dude, it is not PowerPoint, Dave. Thomas, explain to these people. This took him. It takes him so much work, Dave, because he has to render each different bracket possibility. Like it crashes his computer. It took him hours upon hours to make the confetti and shit. Like this is hot. It's way Ralph, higher and much more degree of difficulty than it looks.
Ralph, make sure you pay Thomas 2 salamis this month for his hard work. Okay, well, this has been great.
Damn.
This is top notch.
You are too good for me.
So now we go to
salamis.
The 8-9 matchup, which this matchup it was interesting, but then when I found, because it's number 8, bad Drew Brees' worst decisions, throwing to Zach Strief, number 8, or telling the media
he's a friend
he had
of the podcast, man. You did him dirty. You did him dirty. Friend of the podcast.
I did him dirty, but it's going to get better, Dave. I found the video of throwing to Zach Strief, and me and Thomas cut it up, and Thomas has it, and it's way worse than I remember. If people can't see, if you're listening on the podcast, you can't see it. Poor Zach Strief, he looks like me trying to climb steps. Like it's just terrible. Andrew, when they do this replay, break it down for people. What happened to Zach Strief here?
Well,
it looks
first of all, did Brees airmail this a little bit?
No.
Did he go a little
bit? But like Zach Strief falls down. He fell down.
It looks like
Zach couldn't jump up because his momentum was already carrying him backwards. So like if Zach had the ability to jump, he could have easily caught that. And he also he doesn't get a clean block off the line. He stumbles off his block.
Throw by Drew though.
I mean, it could have been a little bit better, I guess. I don't know, but this is frustrating to watch. This is really difficult to keep watching this over and over. It's like every time I keep watching this, and I'm like, one of these times they show this, he's going to catch it, and he just never does.
We did Zach so dirty. He's never.
Brees has this look on his face like
come on the podcast.
Brees has this look on his face like I told you that was a stupid fucking play.
Is this the Halloween game? Is this the Halloween game?
Death stare. It was the Halloween game.
Yeah, this was the game. So fun fact about this game. This was the game that Malcolm Jenkins and Darren Sharper and all the secondary guys wore boxing robes and boxing shorts that I made for them. Because this was 2010, right? This is the year after the Super Bowl. And I made these boxing robes for them, and it says Super Bowl champs across the hood, and it's got the Saints old school Louisiana logo on the left chest, and it's got their nicknames across the backs. And I remember they were all wearing them in the post-game press conference. I think we won that game 10-7 or 10-3 or so. It was higher scoring than I thought. But and I remember they were all wearing in their post-game press conferences. They were wearing the robes that I made for them. I thought it was like the coolest thing. And then Darren Sharper went and got arrested for being a rapist.
Yeah. When you said Darren Sharper, I was like, wait, wasn't he in jail yet? Nope.
Yeah, no. I have a picture of him in my store of him wearing the robe. It's in the back. It's in the back where I stay, not out in public.
Yeah, I would not share that with anyone.
This is a tough one because this throwing to Zach Strief was clearly a bad decision. But Andrew, the vasectomy confession, I had forgotten until
Do we have audio of this?
We don't have audio, but Thomas went and searched it out and found the quote from it.
Remind me what was said. I don't even remember this.
I mean, Thomas can pull it up in a second. Drew Brees was like at the quarterback club or something, and there it is. I think I'm done. I might have to follow Jim Henderson's recommendation from the New England Touchdown Club luncheon last week. He was saying the V word, and that was for me, vasectomy. We've got some football games to win first. And then, as I've been told by those who have experienced it, do it Saturday before the final round of the Masters. So I've got an excuse to lay around and watch it. It's a great quote.
Yeah. I just remember like Kat Terrell and someone else, another female reporter, tweeting about it, and it's just like, great, Drew, you just told them about your balls.
This one's a hard one. This one's a hard one.
This is hard.
I'm going Zach Streif, throwing to Zach Streif just because I want to be able to make fun of that video more. And if we eliminate it, we won't get to see it anymore the rest of the bracket.
Well, yeah, I like this graphic.
I'm voting Zach Streif.
It was nice of Drew to let Philip Rivers win against him at something. This Philip Rivers has like 16 kids by now.
Yeah.
10.
I don't think he's getting a vasectomy.
Only 16?
Philip Rivers is coaching all his kids' high school football team now.
Yeah.
The high school football team is the whole family. Yeah,
yeah. That's the whole team is his kids.
I vote throwing to Streif. Dave, who do you vote for?
Yeah, this is tough because the whole throwing to Streif thing, I hate to say it, again, friend of the podcast, but I think that one's on Streif. It's not so much a Drew's error. But at the same time, like, I don't know. I've had a vasectomy, and I've talked about it, and it's not a big deal. We're men. We talk about these things. This is a natural part of life.
You don't do that in mixed company,
and
in
also
front of media.
And also, he got some good advice. I've heard most people like to do it like that first weekend of the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, that's a good time.
But the Masters, that's a good weekend to do it too. I really do want to continue making fun of Zach Streif in the throw, but I'm going with the vasectomy confession.
I think I am too.
Yeah.
No, Thomas, who are you going with?
I'm going throwing to Zach Streif so we can have our fans decide.
Oh, the fan poll. Pull it up, Thomas.
It was close.
It was close.
Vote. They
Home
decided
run LSU.
54% vasectomy confession, 45% Zach Streif. Just barely. The vasectomy wins out.
Disappointed. That's why democracy is a bad idea.
Ralph wants to rule with an iron thumb.
I just that video, and I was proud of myself, Thomas. I did that video using OBS, and I had it the right size and everything. I was real proud of myself. It only took me like 25 minutes to edit. I like how he has the Philip Rivers smiling on the winner confetti graphic. Thomas, you are a graphics maestro.
Philip Rivers has 9 children, by the way, for the record.
God damn, that is a lot of
kids.
So
Brees has 4?
Yes.
4, right?
4, yeah.
3 boys and a girl.
I mean, he's literally got Brees doubled up and then some.
So our next matchup.
How much are we doing here? What are we doing? One side of that? Just one side?
We're doing we got the red side and the blue side.
Right.
We didn't do a good job of naming the regions. So the next one is the number 4 Blue Diamonds, aka Drew Brees investing in diamonds that weren't really diamonds, and verse number 13 wearing the Kojak hat at the Super Bowl celebration. Let's start with the diamond investment, which was hysterically bad. Like, he bought these diamonds that were supposedly worth like $9.5 million. They were really only worth like barely 5.
Blue diamond almonds would have been better investments.
He bought so many diamonds, you'd think he had an album dropping, right? And the thing was, I had forgotten about this. Andrew, he had to like go to court for these.
Yeah.
For this.
He won. He won his case.
He won. I wonder if he's got. Look, that dude
there he
looks
is.
sad.
Yeah.
He looks as sad as us after the 2018 NFC Championship.
Notice
game.
the hair, by the way.
Uh-huh.
He looks.
We'll get back to that. We'll talk more about the hair
In 1 week.
Yeah.
He looks defeated, Dave, right there. Like
he does. He looks
people
sad.
that
Look at those.
listen on the
Look at
podcast.
those.
can't see
The
it.
man told me the diamonds were worth a lot.
Look at
I
those
mean-
furrowed brows and his sad eyes. He's like a puppy.
looks-
He looks like a little puppy who knows he just pissed on the floor and he's in trouble. Right? That's exactly what he looks like.
I kind of want to give Drew a hug, man.
I
It looks
do.
like he needs a
Like,
hug.
That is people that can't see it on the podcast. That is as sad of a Drew Brees expression as you will ever see, because he's big. You know, Andrew, they're big on like the body language, him and Sean Payton. So you never
Well,
see that
his-
like, during games, right?
Well,
You never
now
see him
he's
look
now
like
he's
that.
doing what his lawyers tell him to do. Now he's portraying the body language his lawyers are
So
telling
here
him
it
to
is.
portray.
Drew Brees, a veteran quarterback for the Saints, is suing a California jeweler who sold Brees and his wife Brittany about a $15 million investment in grade diamonds. The diamonds are actually worth about $6 million. The couple later found out through an independent appraiser, according to the report. The jeweler, Vahid Maradi, reportedly said he did mark up the diamonds, but charged the couple the price he believed the diamonds could be resold for in 10 or 15 years.
Yeah, well, that sounds sketchy. That sounds like bullshit.
Wow.
I mean,
I took the wrong week to put amphetamines.
I mean, Drew
I mean-
Drew kind of sounds like a sucker, man.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you get that appraised by a third party before investing?
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, that's why, I don't want to give away my vote, but I mean, that's why this is the stronger contender of the two, because, he wound up getting his money back because I think he wound up winning the case, or I assume he got his money back through winning the case. But the damage is still done, and the damage is the fact that, you just look like a guy who just chases, you just put a carrot in front of you. And you just go after it, like you just look like, it's like, I mean, especially when you couple it with a lot of the other things on this list, like the tax credits, or the Advocare, or the whatever.
Advocare, the Jazz Land.
Do you think?
I mean-
Do you think when the judge made his ruling and said, "Yeah, I rule in favor of Drew Brees," but by the way, just so we're clear, you're an idiot.
I feel like there is a non-zero chance Drew Brees is going to invest in some sort of Bitcoin, and the website's going to be like, "This was a scam all along," and Drew's going to be out like $40 million.
Don't understand, like why diamonds? That's a weird
Diamonds
speculative.
forever, forever.
I mean, that's like
Diamonds are forever.
it's just bizarre. I don't know. It's a weird investment to me.
All right. So what? I can't even remember. What is it going up against again?
It's going up of him wearing the Kojak hat at the Super Bowl celebration, which was pretty
Oh,
freaking
God.
terrible. I mean,
Yeah, the
he looked
Kojak
at that.
hat
That's
was
embarrassing.
cool like 50 years ago. That's
I'm Drew Brees, and I'm a member of the Players Club.
Ralph. If your wife put that hat out for you to wear, like if she just laid out the hat, would you wear it? Or
That's
would
what
you
I'm saying.
second,
This
would
is-
you
laid out for
second
you?
guess it? Would you second guess it? Would you be like, actually, Sally, I know I have no fashion sense, but this might be wrong.
I would
Well, I think this
probably,
is- I
if
think
she
this
put
is-
that out for me, to wear for Channel 4 during one of my in-season hits, I would probably wake her up in the morning and be like, "Are you sure? Or was this a mistake? Is it just laying here?" Like, I would double check with her and enrage her by waking her up in the morning to double check. I would doubt that she did that for me, because that would be really bad.
Well,
choice.
now wait. Now your wife dresses you every day, every morning, and this says Drew has worse fashion sense than Ralph. So I mean, that's really a shot at Sealy. I mean, this is really saying Drew has a worse fashion sense than Sealy because she's the one that dresses you.
Sally?
No.
So
No,
yeah,
because-
can we get her opinion on here? Can we get
No,
her?
Did
because
Dave-
if you saw
did
what I
Dave
mean, like
just
look
pull
what
a
I'm
Ralph
wearing now.
calling
Like, my
Ralph's
wife didn't
wife?
dress me, and I'm wearing like a LSU national championship T-shirt and sweatpants. I mean, so like I don't think that's a shot at her. I think that's a complete shot at me.
Yeah, I
Did
pulled
you
a
get-
Ralph on set.
Yeah. Did you guys notice the irony there of Dave mispronouncing Ralph's wife's name? There's like 7 jokes baked in there.
Yeah. My wife, people mispronounce
the
her name
name.
so
Nice.
much. She just lets white people call her Sally.
You could not
doesn't
pay
correct
me
them.
enough money to wear that Kojak hat. That thing is hideous.
My brother wears a hat like that.
And he rocks it with a freaking
How old is your brother, like
enormous
60?
scarf. Look at that scarf.
Yeah, let's talk about this. So my brother wears a hat like that pretty regularly, which one tells you how bad it is. And how often does he wear? He wears it regularly. My brother is he was born in 65, so he's 56.
Old as fuck.
He's old AF, yeah, 56. Lives in Queens. And he's really into the blues.
I feel like you got to be into the blues to wear that hat.
I feel like this was an easy
Also
one
won't
to
get vaccinated.
when I started, but Dave's discussion of the hat and Andrew discussion that I'm going wearing the hat. I'm going up that year. I'm going 13 over the Blue Diamond.
Wow.
Andrew, who you got?
I'm going Blue Diamonds. I mean, that's
Dave?
just so stupid. I mean, that almost cost him $10 million.
Yeah, it didn't. I mean, both of them are bad looks. The hat is physically a bad look. Investing in stupid diamonds is just a bad look in general.
I mean, imagine a parallel universe where Brees never recovers from his shoulder injury, and like he signs with let's say he never signs with the Saints, the doctors flag him, and he doesn't get that contract, and Brees is stuck with that diamond investment and none of the money that he made in his career in New Orleans because his shoulder is just so. Let's say the surgery failed, right?
It sinks him.
It sinks him.
It's
like there's a parallel universe where that diamond thing sends him into a
there is a
abyss of sadness and bad business decisions and
there is a parallel universe where Drew Brees is signing autographs in West Lafayette, his old Rose Bowl jerseys, to make money.
Yeah. Well, I'm going with Blue Diamonds just because of the fact that then after this whole thing, then he had to spend time with lawyers and testify on trial, and it wound up taking time out of his life. So
I wonder how much
Blue
the lawyers
Diamonds
cost him, and
Blue
I wonder
Diamonds.
if he's gotten his money. So Thomas, who you got in this?
That's the thing. Oh, there you go. That's actually a good point. He actually did wind up losing money on this because probably even if he wins his case and he gets the difference between what the Blue Diamonds are worth and what he paid for them, he still has to pay his lawyer, so he's actually out that money.
Yeah. And a Drew Brees lawyer.
Does he get the actual money? Just because you win it in court doesn't mean you get it, right?
So Blue Diamonds all the way.
And I think that Drew Brees lawyer is probably more expensive than Steve Juge by the hour. I'm guessing.
I don't know. Steve Juge is tip top, right?
He is.
Ouch! Shots fired at Dad.
I'm just kidding.
Love you, Dad.
Thomas, what's your pick?
My vote goes for Blue Diamonds, obviously, because I think the hat doesn't look that bad. I think Ralph's. I think Ralph's wardrobe looks worse than that hat.
Come on.
This is a cultural thing here. This is totally
Coach. He's like, the Kojak hat looks nice. Yes,
maybe
I like
they are more popular in Poland than in the USA.
Yeah, they must be.
Yeah. You like the scarf too, don't you? You like the combo with the jersey.
But our fans agree with us.
Completely. The little 10-year-old kids that sell newspapers on the street corner wear those hats in Poland.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The poll was pretty strong on this one. But the interesting thing about this matchup is it's going to be a recurring theme of bad financial decisions and bad fashion decisions. This is the first time, but it won't be the last time that we'll have head-to-head matchups of this sort of theme of Drew Brees, questionable financial decision versus questionable fashion decision. We got a couple more of these, so I like this one. It seems legit, but I can't get over the sad. I forgot how sad he was in court. I had completely forgotten that. So the last matchup of this beginning of the first round, this side of the bracket is number 5 shirt at first press conference and number 12 cooking anything and posting it on social media. And by the way, just because Drew is probably listening to this show and listening to this bracket, he did today. He cooked something he called beef stew. It looked like vomit in a pot. So we'll get to that in a sec. We'll get Thomas. There it is. I mean,
I was going to say I gotta go look it up. Actually, that looks. I mean, of all the things he's posted, that looks most like what it's supposed to be. Like that at least looks like beef stew to me.
Yeah, like the pizza where he just dumped everything, including the shoes and furniture on it.
The pizza thing was my favorite because he was like, "This is a barbecue chicken pizza that I ordered," but then I added everything else to it. It wasn't a barbecue chicken pizza at all. It was a fucking kitchen sink pizza.
Yeah.
And then what? Then his red beans. There was something about his red beans.
He's got so
pathetic.
many. Thomas is freaking out because I went out. We got sidetracked and we went out of order because it would start with the shirt. We start with the shirt at the press conference. Somebody made a point when we posted this on Twitter. They're like, maybe his shoulder was so wrecked he couldn't wear anything else. And then I felt bad for like 5 seconds. But then I'm like, no. He could have worn another shirt. That shirt. He's signing. Andrew, he's signing a $60 million contract with basically the Saints paid him $10 million the first year, and he got a bonus that kicked in March of 2007, which was $12 million. So he's getting a $60 million contract, and that's what he freaking decided to wear. Like,
I think that shirt is actually the reason why he started sponsoring Untuck It, because he was like, "Oh my god, I remember that shirt I wore."
I mean,
and it looked like a blouse. It looked like a blouse. So, I need to invest my money in a company where the shirts look good when they're untucked.
First of all, personal opinion here: if you're gonna go, if you're button down, long sleeve, you don't get a short sleeve button down. Like either go button down, long sleeve, or get a polo if you're gonna go collared shirt, short sleeve. But yeah, it's oversized. It looks ridiculous. And yeah, it's one thing if you're wearing that one day when you're, I don't know, on the golf course or like, I don't know, just at a casual meal with friends. But like you said, he's meeting Mickey Loomis. He's meeting Sean Payton. It's his first introduction in New Orleans, like to the fans and everything. And this is the shirt he picks.
I mean, if he would have had a jacket over it, it wouldn't have been so bad.
And I remember during that press conference, there's a picture of Brittany just looking at him with the most puppy dog, like adoring eyes. And I'm just like, how did you let him leave the house looking like this? I mean, love knows no bounds, I guess. But I just I look at the shirt. And in fact, Drew Brees, when they said, it's the 15-year anniversary or whatever, he tweeted, "Nice shirt, Drew." So I think even he knows how terrible of a selection.
I will give this the most damning endorsement imaginable. When I was, after I had the meeting yesterday with Thomas, I was going through all the stuff, and my wife came by my computer and she saw Drew. My wife. She saw the picture of Drew in the shirt, and she said, "Jesus Christ, I don't even think you would wear something that bad."
Whoa. Shots fired.
I mean, that's a damning indictment of that.
I think we might be going below the belt, guys. With Drew, that might be a little.
That might be. I mean,
although I guess he went below the belt with vasectomies, so.
This one's hard.
That shirt's terrible. That shirt is terrible.
I mean,
Dave,
because the
way,
shirt's
Dave,
terrible.
Are you wearing a button down with short sleeves?
I'm wearing a Columbia PFG.
Okay.
That's
Dave,
acceptable.
I want you, when you're laying down, I want you to wear a smoking jacket next podcast. I want you to be
pipe? Can I get a pipe?
Really? You can get a pipe. I want you to have a pipe and then just pound granola and IPA, and then start smoking the pipe as a finishing move. The thing with his food choices though is they're so. I mean, today's, as Dave said, it isn't awful in comparison to the others. Like, I mean, look at this was the one. This is the.
What's the yellow?
What is
the yellow
that?
Stuff that's a bay leaf.
It's a bay leaf. It's a bay leaf.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I mean,
I thought it was a slice of lemon at first.
I mean that.
I thought he put
Man,
lemon.
That
I
is
thought he put
fucking
lemon
stupid.
in his
Wake
red
up.
beans.
People
But
don't
in a
drag.
skillet, though. I mean, like that's like who cooks in a skillet? Like you cook it in a freaking
like,
pot.
what are you doing, Brees? This one's a hard one for me because they're both horrifically bad.
Do we have the pizza? Thomas, do you have the pizza graphic?
No.
We don't. The pizza one
Next
is
week,
terrible.
maybe. If
More
cooking wins,
likely,
obviously.
I say Paulson Adebo's name right, or Drew cooks something edible.
Remember that whole what was that thing in that pregame meal? Beefy Mac. Remember he was real into
Oh
that.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Beefy
I'm
Mac.
going with the shirt. It's
Yeah.
just
I'm going with the cooking because I already made my joke about the shirt. There's not many more jokes I can make about the shirt.
I'm
I
going.
made the untuck it joke. That's it. I'm done.
I'm going cooking.
I blew my load. I blew my vasectomy load. So I'm going with this. I'm going with social media. The cooking.
I'm going
underdog. It's
I'm
an
going
underdog
cooking
story.
as well. It's bad, and it's consistently bad, and we have multiple images of it which we can relive over and over again. So I like that. So I'm going cooking as well.
what? Thomas, come on, man.
And I'm gonna say my vote won't make a difference. Because our fans voted for cooking
Look
too.
at that.
Oh,
Andrew, you are a low man now.
the
I'm
fans
reevaluating
the
democracy.
fans really hate
Odd man out.
his social media posts. That's funny.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
I mean, it's like extra funny because hold on, I'm eating cinnamon toast crunch.
Drew would never put something like that in his temple body.
I mean, it's like extra funny. It's the same thing with like the Jimmy John's thing. It's like, you know, if he was doing this in Cincinnati, nobody would give a shit. Nobody would even say anything. But he's doing it in New Orleans, where people one know
Take
good
food
food,
very
and two make good food, and three take food very seriously.
That's right.
And so it's like you
Yeah,
could
I mean,
not
some
be in
of
a
us,
worse
some
city.
of us will eat a day-old Whopper from our
I
fridge.
like. Can I just say, Thomas with the winning graphic with Drew holding the skillet with the Twitter logo in the skillet is chef's kiss.
This whole thing has been
Thanks.
a tour de force of podcast, live podcast gold.
It is. So that's
3
half the
salamis.
bracket.
Fuck it, Ralph. Give him 3 salamis this month. I don't care.
Yeah.
Whoa!
Holy shit, I'm gonna get fat.
So we got
Fatter than Dave.
we got the red side of the
We're gonna
bracket.
have a bracket of bad Dave Carriella decisions, and it'll be giving Thomas 3 salamis. It's gonna be it.
We'll do.
Dave going
Thomas,
bankrupt.
you got to get to work on the blue side of the bracket for next week. And it's just
Is that the Democratic side of the bracket?
the Democrat. Well, it's just as bad as decisions. We won't even preview it because we're going way. We're like at 90 minutes already for this podcast. So
Yeah.
so Thomas,
We're gonna break the record
fire-
easily.
it might be. And remember, Thomas, Thomas told me he said yesterday. I was like, "Do you think we have enough?" I think he said, "Fuck, Ralph. We have plenty for tomorrow. We won't get to all this." And I was panicked that we wouldn't have enough besides the bracket. Of course, Thomas is always right.
And
so
we
Thomas,
still
fire
skipped
up
one
the
topic.
music. Fire up the music. We got to get to the questions and get the hell out of here.
Doing questions?
I don't think we have too many.
We do.
Finger guns.
We've got a lot. Wait, by the way, did we get
We
any
have a lot.
calls? Did we get any calls to our line?
No, we got one, but it was not usable. It was the audio was too terrible. I think the thing is with the hotline, Dave, is people only get fired up about the hotline for games. For games or for moves that the Saints make. Like if they sign Richard Sherman or they do something in training camp, like I think it'll fire up people again. But like people don't just want to just call up. Like we can't just say call up and give us a funny story or say how much you love Brees. Like it just doesn't fire the people up enough.
I hear you.
But by the way, before we get to the questions, if you want my wife to stuff a pie in my pie hole, sign up. We went backwards. A lot of people in the summer they stop supporting the show, and then when the season rolls around, they jump back on. But get us to 350 by the first week of the preseason, and we'll stuff a raspberry pie in my face. Make it happen. Plus, you get the booze bundle and the cool gift that me and Dave are cooking up. So do it. Support the show. We got to pay Thomas some way. We're not making any money off of this. Thomas gets all the money.
Free salamis.
Yeah, that's right. So
This
Thomas,
month, just this month.
So Thomas, fire the first question.
Okay, first question comes from TP. Disclaimer: I intentionally didn't fix the typos in it. Who gets more preseason snaps, Trevor Siemian or Ian Book?
Gotta be Book, right?
Book.
I don't know. I'm gonna say about even.
All right.
What next?
Oh, next already. That's
Yeah, we're gonna go rapid fire here. This podcast.
That's like the fastest questions ever. Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna go rapid fire. Keep them coming.
So next question comes from Michael D. Blasio. Is there any CBs that the Saints can possibly trade for and also manage their current salary with our cap?
Well, they can't even afford to sign their fucking draft picks, so they can't afford anybody.
I mean, there going to be a corner, Michael. There'll be a corner that, if they feel like corner is a gaping hole and they need to fix it, and they want to trade for them at the trade deadline, they'll make it work cap-wise. I can't give you a name, but the thing is, you don't know what teams think they're a contender now that, like, when they get to October, they'll be like, we're not a contender, we're in full rebuild mode. So I would, like, don't worry about corner until we see Paulson and Debo suck it up in August in a preseason game. Then start to panic and demand they sign someone or trade.
What next?
Next question from Chris Holloway. Who's the next player the Saints will convert to another position just to get them a higher RAS? Trigger warning, Dave. RAS.
Is that how RAS works? I thought your RAS was just your RAS score.
No. So it's based on position. So Juwan Johnson's RAS went up a full point because now he's like super fast for a tight end and super tall. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Got it.
Yeah. Like he ran like a 4.58. So like for a receiver that was like, but for a tight end it was like, damn, he fast.
You could go. They could move a linebacker to tight end or. Something like that.
Get Adam Troutman at middle linebacker.
They can move Lil Jordan to tight end. That's it.
Ooh.
There you go.
Oh.
What next?
Next question from Badrich from our Discord. If Arch Manning is available to draft in the 2027 NFL Draft, would you pull an all-out Ditka Plus for him?
I mean,
yes.
that would just be epic. I would be nervous that he'd pull an Eli Manning and say I don't want to play for the Saints.
No, I think it would. I think it would just depend on where the Saints are in 2027. Like if they still have Gale as the owner and they still have Mickey Loomis and they're still a really high functioning organization, I don't think the Mannings will have a problem with him playing for the Saints. But if the Saints are a shit show in 2027, like the Chargers were, I think Arch will be like, no, I'm not going. And by the way, this gives me a chance to plug the Locker Room app because Bud Rich is always on there. A lot of people that support the show, patrons, sign up for the Locker Room app, put it on your phone, download it, then listen to the show live Wednesday. You get to interact with us. We have a ton of fun, and it's a great way to easily support the show because Locker Room is a sponsor. They're going to be letting us do the show on Wednesday all year long. So download the Locker Room app, follow Saints Happy Hour. Do it. It's an easy way to support the show.
What next?
Last question from Saints Rabbit. If glass can cut skin and diamonds can cut glass, how is it that Sean Payton's nipples can cut diamonds?
Let's end it there. I mean, that question is just so amazing. I don't even.
Saints Rabbit, DM me. You get a prize.
Yeah,
we're sending you something.
I can't ruin that question with an answer. I would never disrespect it like that.
I don't think it really needs an answer. I think the question is the joke in and of itself.
Oh my god.
That's the joke.
It's so perfect. So by the way, guys, thanks for joining us on this show. This one's really long. The next couple weeks for the bracket, I need to realize that we only need to talk about Saints news for 15 minutes, and then we can go straight to the bracket. We don't need to talk about anything else because we can't have fucking 90-minute podcast. I mean, we can.
Hey, there's me with Drew.
Well, there you go. I mean, you never know when Sean Lattimore is going to shoot his dick
hanging
off.
hanging out with me. That was definitely his best decision ever.
Yeah, well, the one thing I will say when that was at the Greenbrier, right?
No, that was at the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say when you were at the Greenbrier, man, that was when you were on your top of your game, analyzing players. You would go out to practice and see it up close and be like, Michael Thomas is the greatest fucking receiver I've ever seen. That's all I remember of your time at the Greenbrier.
Yeah, it was all downhill. It was downhill since then.
So, guys, thanks for joining us. Thanks for supporting the show. Become a patron. We're amazing. You get all the benefits. It's awesome. And by the way, I want to give a special, before we end, that bracket for Thomas. Get on the YouTube channel. If you're listening to this show in your car, or most of you do, get on YouTube, listen to it again. It is a completely different experience. Thomas has worked his ass off for this bracket, and it's just going to get better and better. It's a reason to watch us on YouTube.
You need the visuals. Yeah,
you need the visuals. And I just want to say, Thomas has gone above and beyond on this bracket. So I want to personally thank him for that. So fire up the music to get us out of here, Thomas. And so for Kevin, who is MIA in St. Louis, for Dave, who is eating granola bars and drinking IPAs the whole show, for Andrew, who half of his attention is on LSU baseball, and for Thomas back in Poland doing an amazing job. As Dave said, he gets extra salami this week. I'm Ralph. Until next week, the bar is closed.
You're gonna shoot your dick off.